What is up, YouTube? It's Tom from Tech Time, and here at Tech Time we bring you all your tech all the time. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our weekly content. Today I have a shootout between two really good phones. This is the Essential phone, the PH1, really nice looking phone, and this is the Google Pixel 2. Not the 2XL, just the 2. This is the one that was manufactured by HTC for Google for their Pixel 2. Both of these are really nice phones, and the one common factor that they have is they both run Android Pie. They have one of the few, if not the only phones on the market right now that run Android Pie. Shortly, you should have the OnePlus 6 and the 6T running Android Pie, and there is a new Sony phone that is coming out fresh out of the box, I believe in October, and that should have Android Pie running out of the box. But right now, these are the only two phones that have a native version of Android Pie running, no beta, nothing like that. This is a full version of Android Pie. So we're going to compare these two phones and see which one is the better buy and which one is the better phone and overall. So let's kick it off. We're going to start off with hardware. Both of these phones came out around the same time. This one came out in August of 2017. This one came out in October of 2017. But the major difference is, if you look at these, they look like they were two different generations of phones. So this one has giant bezels, and this one is nearly all screen with a small chin down on the bottom and a little teardrop notch. They are the first pioneers of this teardrop notch, and I like it a lot better than the huge notches that you see from Apple, LG, and pretty much every other manufacturer besides Samsung this year. Even the Google Pixel 3 XL is slated to have a huge, disgusting notch. So me personally, I like the look of this one better. Hardware, you have a ceramic back with a Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. Like I said, a small chin and your camera on the front. Down here, a mono firing speaker, USB Type-C, then your SIM card slot, you have a microphone, and then that's it. Really sleek. Over here, you get your power button and your volume rockers. Really nice. So you get titanium and ceramic, definitely a different look. Your fingerprint sensor on the back, a connecting pins right there, so you can hook up a 360 camera and a couple other accessories that should release. We'll see what happens. And then a dual camera setup on the rear with your flash. Over here, you have aluminum on the back, fingerprint sensor, glass up here, single firing camera, single lens, flash. On the front, you have dual front-facing speakers, and you have one of the, probably largest screen to body ratio this year. You're only going to get 67% screen to body on this one, and this one you get an almost 85% screen to body ratio. So it's pretty crazy. This is a 5-inch screen. This one's a 5.71-inch screen. You get a 1080p display on this one, and this is a 1312 by 2560 with a 504 ppi. This one only has 441. So in differences of hardware, the hardware is definitely going to have to go with this guy right here, the Essential phone. It's just a much nicer looking phone. The screen is way nicer on this phone, if you can tell. We'll put these on full brightness on both of them. And just look at the difference. This screen is much nicer. This screen is just, it's decent at best. That's where it lies. It doesn't get too bright. Colors aren't the best, not too vibrant. Saturation's all not really that good. And it is what it is. It's a 5-inch 1080p display, and it's a pretty much subpar one at that, comparing to flagship phones. Now I got these phones both at a very reduced price, $250 from Amazon Prime Day, and this one I got really cheap on OfferUp. So that's a way, if you guys are looking for phones, definitely look OfferUp, Craigslist. The Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, the price is way down, real low. You can even get them on eBay and Swapper and things like that at a really good price. So definitely look at them from there. So like I said, the display and the hardware in general goes to this one. This one You know, you get aluminum on the back. It's okay. The glass on the top, it's not a bad look. I don't mind it. The fingerprint sensors on these two, this fingerprint sensor is probably the worst fingerprint sensor I've ever used on a phone in a long time. It's really that bad. Every time I click it, this one works. It has a little weird haptic feedback when you do it. It's not the best. And there's a slight delay. This one right here, when it works good. Little delay. Not bad. You get the slightest amount of like moisture on your finger or dust or anything like that. This fingerprint sensor does not work. I've had to put in my fingerprints multiple times when the phone's charging. For some reason, I don't know if there's some kind of like current going through the phone or whatever, it makes the connection like almost unusable. I don't know if that's just me. Let me know down in the comments below if you own the Pixel 2 and you've had issues with the fingerprint sensor. But to me, it's one of the worst ones I've used in recent years, especially at the flagship level. So hardware in general, screen, display, everything like that, build quality definitely goes to the Essential. I think it's just a more well-built machine. It's a little heavier, and I like the heft, in my personal opinion, when I'm holding it in the hand, things like that. Don't get me wrong, when you throw this thing in your pocket, it's actually a lot nicer because it's lighter, and it's a little bit small. Actually, it's a little bit bigger. This one's a little smaller, but this one's a little thicker, the Essential phone. So it's going to come down to preference on what you like there, but screen, everything like that, so much nicer on this. Getting into software, they're both running Android Pie, and they're both super, super fast. So let's open up a couple things. The Google Pixel opens it a little bit quicker than that. On this one, let's open some Twitter. So the Google Pixel 2 is a split second faster, but it is really not that big of a deal. Let's see, we'll open up some Android Authority. Well, let's go back there. So it comes a little faster on this one, probably because I just opened it. And this one had a little bit of bug fixes. But we'll open one more. We'll open Pocket Now. So pretty close. Split seconds here and there. I would give it to the Google Pixel 2. But overall, they are both super fast. You go through, I'm running the gesture mode. So you swipe up to get rid of your apps. You can actually swipe between two apps if you have two apps open. So we'll do Instagram and we'll do Twitter. And now you can swipe between them. Took me a while to figure that out, but you can just swipe between two apps. That's pretty cool. Where before you'd hit the double back button and then that would bring you to two apps. So you can just switch right through. Nice. Clear all the apps. Boom. Both of them are super fast software-wise. They both have all the same features. This thing's pretty much stock Android as along with that one from Google. So there's not a huge difference in terms of software. Like I said, the Google Pixel 2 is maybe a split second faster here and there, but overall, I've had no issues on software side of things at all. Going forward, the Essential company in itself is kind of a dying company. There's been small rumors lately through Reddit posts that there might be a second phone, but as what was officially announced, it wouldn't be a successor to the Essential phone. So going forward, I think you're going to get better support on the Google Pixel 2. But as of right now, the Essential phone has gotten tons and tons of updates. And that's not to say that they weren't needed, because they were. This phone needed a lot of updates to get it to even in the state that it's in right now. Going forward, like I said, I would probably rely on Google more than Essential. But who knows? So far, so good. Essential's stuck with every type of security update and small little updates. Got us running Android Pie right away, same time that the Google Pixel phones did. So you got to give them credit there. But I think overall, going into the future, Google's going to support this phone longer than Essential will. Let's get into camera. Now this is a huge one right here, and this one is won by one phone and one phone only, and that is the Google Pixel 2 and the 2 XL. They have the same camera. This is a single 12 megapixel camera, and it's just unbelievable. It's got an f1.8 aperture, and it's really not so much the camera hardware as it is Google's software. Their software and processing is obviously state-of-the-art, and it's just unmatched by any other company out there. I think maybe Apple's processing and Samsung, I can't even say that. Maybe Apple's with this newest phone that just came out. Their processing might have picked it up a notch, but Google's image processing is just really unbelievable. So we just take it. This thing focuses super fast. Boom. And that's it. It's processing. Go back to it, and they'll do their little tweaks that they do. It's really that quick. Pick the phone up. Boom. And you got a great picture. It's just crazy how fast this thing can snap a picture. It really is. Open, boom, and it's processing, and it's just a nice photo every single time. It's just so crazy that you can take a camera, point and shoot that quick, and it's always a nice photo. It's just really incredible. Video, really good. Everything is just great about it. It's hard to find something that's not good on this phone. I guess if you wanted a telephoto lens, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get an ultra wide. And you're going to get a pretty basic camera app. Now, you can get other camera apps like Open Camera and things like that if you want more manual settings. But this is what you're going to get out of the box. You got your slow motion. You got panorama, photosphere, portrait, which works great. See if we can even get it to process. And it did. Not too much because I was pretty close. But overall, portrait mode works really good. One of the best companies out there for portrait mode. You got AR stickers, Google Lens, and then you got your settings. This can do 4K, 30 frames per second. You get 1080p at 30 and 60 frames. So overall, the camera is crazy good on the Google Pixel 2. It's obviously been, voted one of the best cameras out there, if not the best, depending on your opinion, but realistically, pretty much the best camera out there. Now let's get into the essential phone. I'm running the Google APK, so we're going to have the same setup that you had on the Google Pixel 2. The only difference is you're not going to have the same quality. The quality on this phone is just not up to par. Look, shoot, and now it's going to take us all the way back there. But there you go. Not the best. This is just a quick sample. It may look good there, but it's just not the best. It just doesn't take the best pictures. You have to really try hard for it. And the camera quality is just not the best. You can get decent pictures out of it. It is passable. It's going to be probably better than some mid-range phones, but it's not the best at all, especially with the original camera app. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not in competition with this. It's definitely on a mid-tier level for the cameras. And then you have a monochrome sensor on the back. To me, that doesn't do much for me. I'm not a big black and white guy. We're supposed to use it for, depth and things like that. I'm not exactly sure, how well it works. It gives you, a decent photo in black and white, but I could just use a filter and get that same look. I'm not a big fan of it. I would have liked something else. I don't think it helps with their portrait modes or anything like that. It's really not that good. Video on this phone is, I want to say almost terrible, pretty much. Stabilization is absolute trash, and they need a lot of work on the video side of this thing. Photos are decent. Video, to me, is just trash. That's on the rear cameras. Moving over to the front-facing camera. The front-facing camera on the Google Pixel 2, really good camera. Boom. Take a picture. There it goes. And it just snaps a nice photo. Takes nice video on the front. Over here on this camera, turn it around. Has a decent front-facing camera on this one. For some reason, I don't know, maybe I didn't take the picture. Let's try again. There we go. So not bad. Let's see which one took the better photo. Google Pixel 2 definitely took the better photo. Skin, everything's nicer on this one. This one's a little oversaturated. Overexposed on the face. But this one has 4K video recording, and it's actually pretty good. It's actually really good on the front for video recording, but stabilization is better on the Google Pixel 2, and I don't think most people are buying a phone camera-wise for a front-facing camera as the only camera that's pretty much good on the phone. So in terms of camera, Google Pixel 2 takes this by a landslide. So let's get into battery. Battery life on both of these phones is actually pretty good. The Google Pixel 2 is running a smaller battery. It's a 2700 milliamp, and this is a 3040 milliamp hour battery. I get decent battery life. I could get a solid work day and I come home and I got maybe 15%, 20% on this thing. And for a 5.7-inch screen and a small battery, it's actually pretty good. And since the Android Pie update, the battery life has actually been better. But I have been running this mostly as my daily driver so far this last like two weeks, I think it is. And this thing's really been kicking ass. I get a whole day, I take it off in the morning, I come home and I still have like 40%, 35%, depending on how much I'm using it during the day. But I take a ton of photos with this because I love the camera. So battery life is definitely better on the Google Pixel 2. But you're running a screen that is a lower resolution, doesn't have the brightness level that this one does. So, you know, you're kind of giving up some in battery life, but you're also giving up screen. So that's something you're going to have to, you know, figure out. But they're both, you know, fairly good. They're going to get you through a solid day, no problem. But me personally, the Google Pixel 2, if I'm looking for just strictly battery, that one's going to take it. So let's get into the last category that I want to get into, and that'd be like X factor. What's the wow factor on these phones? And this phone right here is, you know, stock Android, vanilla Android, but you're going to get updates on this thing all the time, and it has the best camera, or one of the best cameras on a smartphone. Right now, I still believe it is the best camera on a smartphone. The new iPhone looks pretty impressive, but I don't have that in hand to test, so I wouldn't be able to put my opinion on that personally. The X factor on this baby right here is that it does have connectors for a 360 camera. To me personally, it's not the best camera, but if you want to wow some people, if you're into 360 photography or videography, you know, that's a good option for you. The build quality on this thing is unbelievable. The screen to me is gorgeous, good battery life, and it's just overall a really, really solid phone. The cameras are the biggest downfall on this thing right here. Service on both of them has been great. Call quality has been great on both of them. The mono speaker on this thing is a little louder than the dual speakers on this, but I like the dual speakers because they're front facing and they both face right at you. So, you know, if I had to grab one as a daily driver, I would grab this because I like taking photos and things all the time. If I wasn't so much invested in a camera, this would probably be the phone. I like the screen on this so much better. Outdoors, it's just so much nicer. I like the look of it. I like the feel of this phone better. But I don't like the cameras. The cameras just aren't great for make sure you're going to grab that nice photo when you want to take it. You're just not going to get it with this. This thing, 9.5 times out of 10, you're going to get a perfect photo. The only downside to the camera on this is sometimes it's a little dark, but overall it boosts the shadows, so it gives it more dynamic range. But I enjoy it. Overall, they're both great phones. You can get this thing, you know, upwards of $450. You can get this thing probably $350 at the most. You can get it as cheap as maybe $200 on Craigslist or something like that. Maybe even cheaper if you get the right deal. So they're both great phones, run an Android Pie. So if you're interested in a phone running Android Pie, these are your two options right now, or the Google Pixel 2 XL. That's going to cost a little bit more money. These are pretty much in the same price range, same sizes, you know, different screens because you got bezels and you got nearly bezel-less on this side. So there's some things, you know, hopefully this video will help you guys decide if you're in the market for either one of these. But like I said, if you want a phone that has a great camera, it's going to be this. If you're really interested in cameras, don't go with this. But if you want a solid build quality, super fast phone, good battery life, and decent cameras at best, this is your option. It's all up to you guys. Like I said, the prices are around the same. I'll have links down in the description for Amazon for both of these phones. If you guys want to check out the latest prices going on Amazon, hit that link. And with any of my links, they are affiliate links. So if you do buy something through it, I get a small portion of your purchase. Doesn't cost you anything, but it does kick back to the channel, and I appreciate it big time. So guys, until next time, that is it. and I'll catch you later. Peace.